Hello, hello, and welcome to this Tarot Live. How are you guys doing? Happy Saturday. I went for a lovely adventure today down to the beach, listened to some music, and did a little dancing. Got myself a new phone, so I'm excited about that. So I was actually crying this morning because I was trying to figure out how to move from Apple over to Android. And anyways, it was interesting. I cried, I failed, and then I conquered because I hit some hiccups with that. So the energy is definitely a little bit volatile. So you might be up one moment and down the next. And it can be kind of that ebb and flow energy for probably the next couple of weeks, but I think there's some amplified energy happening right now. Possibly some really big ticket items kind of moving forward that we've been waiting for, movement or solutions or communication, really trying to get to the bottom of something and get closure on it. And it's not necessarily about ego, it's something that your intuition is leading you towards. So really feeling like you want to reach out or you want to move forward on a goal, or you really need to look inwards and revisit something in your life and try to gain more clarity before you take that action. But it's definitely very preemptive. It's like the action is coming. We're very close to making some moves again in our lives. And so it's a very interesting time to be patient, but also be planning your next step. So being mindful of what you're going to do when you can move forward and starting to organize and plan for that as best you can, whilst also resting and rejuvenating. So definitely paying a lot of attention to self-care. So, and certainly with these energies and that restless energy, you might have, a week of feeling really good. And then all of a sudden you just hit your down turn and you go into a spiral or a cycle that you don't feel very comfortable in. And when you're there, it's a really good place to see how your self-talk is, like how you're treating yourself. Are you being kind to yourself? Are you beating yourself up in terms of, oh, I'm fat or I have pimples or my hair, or are you going, okay, this is a really challenging, unprecedented time. And if I'm feeling really low today and I can't be productive, then that's okay. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to table whatever I have to accomplish and get to it when I am able, and give myself some extra sacred space, time, energy to cope with what's going on right now, because it might hit you at different times in terms of what it means, the feeling of restriction, trying to cultivate your inner freedom, inner liberation, and trying to move forward whilst you have physical limitations in terms of your movement. So it's a really interesting time. And of course, the energies are moving very slowly in one way, but also there's so much happening behind the scenes and so much happening within us, that it is more of the, what's beneath the iceberg, so to speak. That the bottom of the iceberg is what's really happening, and we're kind of just able to see the tip of the iceberg and go, okay, I can see that, and I know that I don't know. So there's this extreme state of the unknown and that uncertainty that we're all still working with and strategizing and coping with. So just a huge shout out and lots of love to you guys out there, especially if you're feeling a little bit lonely or you're really starting to get a little stir crazy and feel like a little hamster on a wheel. And hopefully we can tap into some of the more creative elements of our energies coming up into this week. We'll see what the cards say for this week. I'm just going to go right in and do this weekly reading. I'm also going to be doing a May energy update. So I'll do that sometime in the next couple days, just to get an energy for the month of May to see if we can expect any shifts of the energies, because I do feel like there are going to be some big shifts coming up, and it's going to be interesting. We're going to see what's going on here. So I'm going to start out with some gentler energies. So I've got my beautiful Fairy Reflections deck by Pauline Cassidy. And I'm just going to pull a couple of those. And if you guys haven't liked my channel already, I'm just starting to build up here. So it'd be lovely if you could like, subscribe, thumbs up, set your notifications. And if you haven't found me already over on Facebook, it's Kindred Heart Tarot over there. So let's see what we have for the energies of this weekend, moving into the week. Let's see. Just going to pair these with the Work Your Light Oracle. Actually, I've got one facing up, so I'm just going to fix that. So this is for highest and best. And if you catch this, reading at another time, Spirit has guided you and directed you here. Is there something that you need to hear? I saw some sea otter medicine today, so I'm going to look that up, but make sure you guys are paying attention to the animal totems that are coming your way. So let's see what we've got here for what energies we've just been experiencing in the past week. Nurturing. That's really beautiful. Such a beautiful card. I love her artwork. Keep your inner child nurtured and you will thrive with vitality. So that's something we've been doing a lot of. It's been really grueling, hard work. Moving into the subconscious, looking at our triggers, looking at our mistakes that we made where we were maybe self-righteous or really stuck on our egos and didn't want to be wrong, where we were hiding our feelings, where we weren't connecting to our heart, holding back for fear of being hurt. So not really able to be vulnerable and go for what we really want, what's really true to our heart and soul. And so this nurturing is quite a beautiful energy because it's reminding us that when we have those really hard, challenging experiences in life, it can be really hard as our adult selves to move forward because we think, oh, well, will I ever love again? Or what happened? Or I can't believe that person's not in my life anymore. Or how do we find a solution to this? It feels too heavy or it feels too challenging to move through. And then we can feel really blocked and stuck, and it comes to sort of like a stalemate or impasse energy. And that's where it can be really hard as adults to move forward. Now, the beautiful thing about this nurturing energy is really tapping into healing those childhood traumas and wounds first and foremost. But what that also does is it releases that inner child to become a little bit more playful. And when we learn how to nurture our inner child and really touch base with that inner child. So if there's an issue in our adult life where we feel, we're throwing a temper tantrum or something along those lines, we can touch base and go, okay, what about this situation reflects something from my childhood, and how am I kind of mirroring that energy here, and how can I take care of myself and mother or father that inner child in me that needs nurturing, soothing, love, tenderness, care that you may not have received when you were a child, which led to some of these coping mechanisms and defense mechanisms, really guarding against people getting into your heart space for fear of being really hurt. And some of you have been betrayed. Some of you have been, cheated on, or just had really difficult circumstances in your lives, and it's hard to move forward from that. And you'll experience relationships or friendships and connections that will really highlight and show you how blocked you are and how fearful you really are. And really be gentle with yourself when those realizations come to light, because so many of us do that. We close ourselves off, we build walls, we build boundaries, and we move away from healthy boundaries and coping strategies where we use our communication instead of avoiding conflict or avoiding moving through something with someone. So this is a really beautiful energy. Just to remind us to really pay attention to that inner child, really pay attention to that nurturing kindness, loving kindness to the self, and how we speak to ourselves. The dialogue that we speak to ourselves with is really important right now too. So, and yes, I did get a new ring because I turned 36 in March. So this was a happy birthday ring to myself, my little quarantine birthday. And it is amber with coral, I believe, or fossilized coral, and that's from Peyote Lover. You can find her on Instagram. So anyways, there we have our nurturing card. And to clarify that, we have a kasha. Your guidance is divinely guided. So we have this beautiful energy right now where we've been asked by spirit to go within, and there will be multiple levels of this. So you might have experienced something in your life where, circumstances were kind of like, it's time to focus on you and go in and see who you really are, get back to your basics and come home to yourself. And then if you kind of resisted and you rebelled against that, then we have this huge energy of introspection, going within, finding solitude, finding silence, being alone and being okay in that independent state, and really getting to know yourself again, really understanding, how you tick, so to speak. And this energy of Akasha, your guidance is divinely guided. You will have ways that you understand are beneficial for you right now, specific to you and your path and your life, that will help you move forward, whether it is being more social online or whether it's really focusing on what you can do, what you can produce. Like say you have carpentry skills or you're an artist, or, what are those aspects of your talents and your creative genius and your abilities that you can be tapping into right now. So this doesn't mean you have to be uber productive, because that's actually counterintuitive to what we're being shown right now. It's really moving at a snail's pace or a slow pace, steadily building really strong, solid foundations so that we can move forward and actually build on top of those strong, solid foundations, rather than the weak foundations built on fear. So if we're, in relationship and we're afraid someone's going to leave us and we keep on sabotaging that, then, you're building something on doubt and fear of rejection, fear of abandonment and avoidance. And essentially you're just not allowing it to grow because the soil is all poisoned. And that is, the mental and the subconscious blocks and choices. And so now what we're doing is we're really going back through that soil and we're clearing it out. We're purifying it. We're putting fertilizer on it with whatever we transmute, what we transform from suffering and pain, or a pattern or a block where we actually find clarity, or we realize a behavior that we're doing that doesn't serve us anymore. And we work through our fears and we let that go as much as possible. And that really allows us to have that new beginning, that new slate, because now we're working with, clean, fertilized soil, so to speak. But it takes a lot of work to do that as well. So just be gentle with yourselves as we move forward here. I'm just realizing how much I'm touching my face. And I'm actually going to quickly read this excerpt in the book, if I can find it, because that's the only thing with this particular book. It's not alphabetical. So it makes it a little bit more difficult when you're doing it live. But that's okay. Let's take a moment to enjoy yourselves. I just feel like there might be an extra message that I didn't cover. Let me see. There we go. It says, Akasha exists in the 5th dimension and the library of souls. All soul contracts, history, gifts, lessons, and more exist here. We each have access to this information of the past, present, and future and can tap into it at any time. While we have free will, there are also points on the timeline of our lives that are predestined or pre-planned, soul contracts or agreements that were made before incarnating. It could be a company you chose to work for, a relationship you plan to have, or a person you agreed to mentor or help. Whatever it is, know that it is divinely guided and will not bypass you. And this is kind of assisting us in releasing worry, because you might have a really strong soul connection or a situation that went totally, different to what you anticipated or expected. And some of those connections are very important soul connections that will come back around when the time is right. There will be healing for some of those situations. And it's really up to you to pay attention to your intuition and that divine guidance that's coming through. It says, you are likely living out an important part of your soul's journey, and you are exactly where you need to be. This is very exciting indeed. It is time to call in the support of your helpers, both in the physical realm and the spiritual world. To trust the signs coming, to take note of your dreams, to notice any feelings or visions that you receive, for you are tapping into the wisdom of the Akasha, and you are being given the go-ahead to proceed. So it's really neat because this Akasha, right, it's kind of the record keepers. Some people can read the Akashic records, so they do Akashic readings where they can kind of look into a library. So if you look at all, the universe as a library, and then each of us are individual books. And so the librarian or the Akashic reader will kind of reach into the library and pick out your book. And it might be a really thick book. There might be a whole bunch of volumes. Or it might be, a smaller book for a younger soul or a newer soul. And whales are the animal keepers of the Akashic realm. So they are the record keepers. So it does say, with a little affirmation here, I open myself up to receive the wisdom of the Akasha. I'm ready to download any information from my soul records that is in my highest good and the highest good of all right now. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And this is also about having latent gifts or psychic abilities that are going to be coming back, maybe from past lives, just information that you are coming into remembrance. So when I talk about it, I kind of feel like we already have all of this information stored. And at certain points in our lives where we reach a level of understanding or awareness, or we have an awakening, those memories kind of come flooding back, and we actually will utilize them to move forward on our soul path, our soul journey. So it's really cool to see this nurturing and inner child work coming up with the Akashic records, because it's kind of a fusion of the old and the new, and really being mindful of that kind of cycle of mother, maiden, crone. And just understanding that we are in transition right now. We are moving within the cycle, within the cogs on the wheel. And so this is a really beautiful time of divine guidance, and time to practice connecting with that guidance and seeing how your Q&A is. If you put a question out to your guides, or your passed over loved ones, or your spiritual team, see, how fast the answers come back to you. Because I feel like right now there's, we've got a pretty good network speed going. So you'll probably hear back from your guides and your team fairly quickly, whether it's through a person, a TV show, a song you hear on the radio, through numerology or angel numbers, and or through animal totems. So let's see what we have this weekend. Confidence. This is awesome. Confidence is having the belief in yourself to keep going and the self-assurance to get you there. So when we have these moments of doubt, hi, Jade Lynn, how you doing? It can be really hard because we can get pretty mean to ourselves, Like I was saying this morning, I was having trouble with my electronics and I was losing my shit. So, I had to take a moment and just go, okay, don't let this kind of bring you down into a little spiral. Remain confident and keep going, keep moving forward. And this really applies to your goals and your dreams. I'm really good, thanks. It's important right now to keep your eye set on your goals and your dreams and your desires, even if you have experienced really big setbacks, even if you're feeling forlorn or disjointed or rejected, and you're really not sure where the next step is. Spirit is also reminding us to be patient. I will at the end, actually, Jadlyn. Usually at the end, I will go and do live polls for those who are still watching. So we can get, these moments of insecurity where something really rattles us to the core and we become really self-conscious or insecure, and we can move down in frequency or energy. And it's really unfortunate because we can be so powerful and really exceptional human beings and have accomplished so much. And really focusing on those tiny hiccups, they may have been painful. We may have experienced a lot of suffering. And there might have been an energy where you don't understand what happened. Because sometimes when we're talking about, the Akashic Records was just mentioned, when we're talking about soul bonds, twin flames, soulmates, there can be some really intense encounters. And depending on what your contract is and what your intuition tells you, there can be times when you lose confidence because you trusted something or you believed something, and then in the 3D world, something else happened and it might have not worked out, quote unquote, or you didn't understand why it didn't last longer or whatnot. So there can be these issues with confidence, especially now, where we're kind of put on hold in a couple areas of our life. And so if you're finding that you're losing confidence or you're kind of moving into an area of fear, anxiety, or insecurity within yourself, it's really time to get in touch with that inner child and nurture yourself as much as possible so that you can move forward with power, strength, confidence, and perseverance when the time is right. So once again, it says confidence is having the belief in yourself to keep you going and the self-assurance to get you there. So there's a lot of different layers to moving forward with confidence. Let's see what our clarifying card is. The Great Gathering. So it's all coming together, intuitive hits and soul tribe. So there's this energy of, there's been a lot of shitstorms in the past here. A lot of you have been through some incredibly challenging times. And, many of you have had at least one awakening where you came to greater realization of, illusion and reality, quote unquote, in this spiritual journey, and really realizing the energies of shadow, of light, of ego, of the subconscious and the conscious, of spirit, and your connection to everything. And what this card really indicates to me in terms of confidence is when we're blind, when we can't see what's happening, and our lives sort of, come to a place where there's this unknown, this uncertainty, and we might be at a 0 point. We might be starting over again from scratch, but it's not really from scratch because we have all our tools and resources and the lessons that we learned. But what this indicates to me is just remember, you guys, that we are calling in our soul tribe. So if you've been working really hard and not seeing the fruits of your labor, so to speak, and you've had information come in from your guide, your team, that things are going to improve and that your rewards are coming and that there are miracles and blessings to believe in for you, they're really trying to keep you positive so that you can step forward and receive what is being offered to you. And this tribe, this is where we come together. This is where we collaborate. We dream together. We work as a team, and we really manifest from the 5D into the 3D. And we understand that we can't do it all by ourselves. We can't do it alone. We're very powerful individually. And at times, we do need to go in and restore and fill up our well and get that power back and regenerate. But there will be a time coming up here where we are actually putting the feelers out and trying to connect with our soul tribe and bring those soul bonds back in that are predestined or part of our journey for our highest and best. So a really interesting energy of things coming together, even if it doesn't seem like it, even if you can't see it on the outside, things are coming together. And there's going to be a time of excitement and celebration, even if we can't feel it just yet. There's going to be some big breakthroughs for you guys, especially if you're entrepreneurs or indiepreneurs. There's going to be some really awesome and amazing steps and actions and opportunities that you're going to be taking to propel you forward on your journey. So really neat energy for this weekend, actually, just reminding us, stay confident, listen to your intuition, rely on your soul tribe, and reach out and connect, connect with people that you are attracted to and you find yourself energetically, relating to. So it's a really good time to be checking out my channel. What? All right. So coming into the future, healing. This is funny because I saw, or actually I didn't see it, but I heard a grouse the other day, which is all about sacred drumming and the rhythms of life. And there's a little grouse in the middle of this picture here. A healthy body thrives with a constant flow of balanced energies. So once again, we're really being reminded, this is all about mind, body, soul, and inner child, mother, maiden, crone kind of energy. So we have to really be taking care of our divine feminine, divine masculine, and, creating that cosmic child, and also that inner child to go with, the more mature self, and then the crone self. So this healing energy surrounds us, but it's also pointing out the differences between the mental faculties and the physical faculties of grounding. So some people may have realized that they overeat, or they are tempted to overeat, or crave sugar. And that's a way of grounding. It's just a way of grounding that's more based in an unconscious or subconscious kind of addictive nature. So really, it's an interesting time to learn how to ground properly, learn how to really go into your sacred womb space. Masculines can have that too. It's really just going into that space of creation. So your sacral chakra, your root chakra, realizing how supported, how connected you are to Mother Earth, to spirit, and understanding that your mental faculties are really connected to how you feed yourself, how much nutrients you have, how much energy you have. So if you're exercising, if you're stretching, if you're doing yoga, if you're meditating, if you're creating, or connecting with people to keep that social element alive within you, then you're really doing an awesome healing job in terms of keeping your body energy balanced. So, and if you're not, if you feel like you can't get out, or you're having trouble exercising or eating well, then that's really going to affect your mental faculties. And you might find that you're really foggy, so you have brain fog, or you don't feel like you can get up and do anything. So having lethargy. And sometimes that's okay. But when it becomes an elongated pattern, that can move us into the area of depression and stagnant energy. And so your body and your mind are looking for ways to establish flow in your life. So maybe try bringing in some music. If you are really down in the dumps and you can't find ways to exercise, maybe listening to music to stimulate some flow, maybe just even moving the body a little bit. But this is really reminding us here how important it is to have energetic flow. So we've been really working on balance of the divine masculine and feminine and heaven on earth, bringing that down from the 5D into the 3D, being magicians, manifesting, transmuting, and creating. And it's still so important as we heal our inner child, as we reclaim our confidence and continue to be self-assured on our journey, that we remember to continue healing ourselves as we move forward. So, and under the healing, we have Unbound. And this is, kind of one of the darker cards in this deck because it's actually really quite light. But it says releasing soul patterns, contracts, and past lives. So, we talked about the akasha in our past here. And something I want to say in this video is there are times when we can get stuck in believing in a particular contract. And I'm going to use twin flames, for example. Now, I resonate as one. So this is just part of my observation and my journey, as everyone will have a different perspective and experience. But for me, what I found is that if you feel bound or restricted by a connection like that, then it's really good practice to look at where you're confining yourself or you're creating bondage or tyranny for yourself. So where it's like a power dynamic or a power struggle. And if you can move out and liberate yourself, kind of unbind yourself from having to believe that your life has to go in a specific direction or you have, really rigid expectations on something, then it's time to free yourself of those expectations and really liberate yourself consciously and subconsciously back into that creative abundance where you recognize that if it doesn't work out with that one person that you had your soul and your sights set on, there are multiple possibilities that the universe will provide you so that you can still really enjoy your life and you can live out your divine purpose and be, content on your life path. Because there is free will and there is timing, this situation might unfold in a different way at a different time and you just have no control over that. So it's really remembering as well to humble yourself in terms of divine timing, divine guidance, and knowing that spirit really does have the highest intention for you, but also the other people involved. So there's so many different angles and so many different energies to consider that it's time, if you're feeling bound and you're feeling restricted, to give it up and surrender it up and open yourself to a new field of possibilities. And you can keep that energy if you have the strength and you have the desire to do so. You can keep that energy on the back burner, so to speak, as long as it's not holding you back. And you can use that, to telepathically communicate or use that as a 5D support system and really move forward in your life. Then you really are releasing restrictions. You're letting go. You're letting go of anything that burdens you. And that includes a thought pattern or a belief pattern. So really important to understand that this is a huge cycle of breaking old patterns. So you might have had a pattern, say, with someone for maybe 15 lifetimes where you had an insecurity and they had an inability to love or be loved, and you played out the victim perpetrator energy over and 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 couldn't quite break through. And now you might not even know it, but you have broken that pattern and, your whole team is celebrating going, wow! And you're going, what the fuck just happened? This isn't where I want to be. This isn't how I thought it was going to go. And we can have that resistance and kind of a misunderstanding of the bigger picture of what we're here to do, which is to experience life through the journey. And it's not really just about, having that perfect relationship or children or a car. It really, life is so dynamic and impermanent that there are so many elements that we just cannot account for. So really, it's very challenging. And I know I might sound like, oh yeah, like super easy to do that, isn't it? And you guys are like, whatever. But, for those of you who have been through it a couple times and you're just starting to grasp onto these ideas like me, you're starting to see, okay, there is something bigger here. There's more to it than I thought. And there's a lot I don't know. And yet you're still connecting into that intuition. It's really interesting to go, okay, I think I think we may have broken a pattern there. Kudos to us. I believe finally I have stood up for myself and gone, no, this is my value. I'm not going to settle for less. So if you raise yourself up and you come into that frequency and vibration of love and self-acceptance, come on over. Let's go have a party. But if you're going to stay stuck in that victim energy or be a perpetual, in a state of perpetual fear and ego, then unfortunately, we're no longer there. So you're raising yourself up, you're up leveling, and you're leaving that energy behind. So huge transformation, massive shifts in consciousness and in perspective. So seeing life from a different perspective. And that can be scary as well. It takes a lot of time to integrate and assimilate that new information too, right? So it's a big, big achievement. So I hope you guys are feeling the power in that. So I'm actually just going to pull a couple tarot cards, and then, because I'm feeling my throat chakra kind of going low here. So then if anybody is watching live, if you would like a card pull, just put yes, please in the comments there, and I will pull a personal card for you. And if you're catching the replay, I hope you've enjoyed the video and tuning. And if this is your first time, welcome. And let's see here. So I'm just going to pull a couple clarifiers for each of those energies. Past, present, future. Anything else that will help us navigate or accept the energies that we've just been through and are coming up to. Okay, so as I said, if you're watching live and you want a card pull, just put yes, please in the comments, and I will pull a personal card for you. So, in line with the nurturing the inner child and listening to your divine guidance, we have the Ace of Earth. So this is a really beautiful card. The inflow of abundance, a promising business venture, important documents or contracts. So Spirit really is bringing through new energy, new vision, new opportunity into our life, and kind of upgrading us and moving us into a different way of seeing ourselves. So we're really changing our identity, so to speak. So we might have some beautiful ways, and I kind of hinted at this for entrepreneurs or those of you who are really, happy to receive in this lifetime. You've got your spiritual treasure trove, and you're like, all right, bring on the finances, because I am totally okay with being spiritually rich and financially rich. So this card does suggest that there are going to be some really promising opportunities coming your way. So with that soul tribe too, there might be some people that you're going to meet, or you're really, come up with a really neat idea and you're just going to go for it because you're done with waiting around. You're done with seeking approval from everybody before you move ahead with something, or people pleasing the shit out of everyone else, and you come last. Screw that. We're not into that anymore. You come first. Your goals are important. Your destiny is, your birthright, and you're going to move forward and claim that as a leader. So with the confidence and the great gathering, so intuitive hit, soul tribe coming together, and being confident about where you go. Woo! Holy macaroni. We have the 9 of air, so the 9 of swords. And this one has been coming up a lot if you watch other tarot readers online. Expecting the worst, self-fulfilling prophecies, and sleepless nights. And this is, I think, where we had the confidence issues coming up. So really transforming the doubt, transforming the idea that because things have been really hard, and they could have been hard for 10 years, you guys, like some of you who are on a really spiritual path, you could have had, it up to here in terms of being stuck in the mire for 10 years, maybe more, maybe a little bit less, but a lot of you may have had your fair share of really serious challenges. And so your spirit's really asking you, be confident in yourself, be confident in your soul tribe, be confident in spirit's support of you, because these self-fulfilling prophecies, they're no good. They're based in fear, they're based in shame, they're based in guilt, and doubt. Doubt is one of those big things that can really sabotage our happiness and our contentment. So when you kind of feel that doubt coming in, just check yourself before you wreck yourself. It's good to look at it like a thought garden. So, weeding those thoughts out. Go, okay, I'm doubting. I'm thinking the worst. Like my life is shit and it's never going to get any fucking better. Well, all right, it's time to put your gloves on and do a little weeding there. Go, okay, yeah, it has been challenging. It's been crazy. I'm totally not where I thought I would be. However, I'm way stronger. I'm way more capable. I'm going to choose better partners or better business partners or, better ways to save money. I'm going to, just act differently than you did before to get a different result, right? So our final kind of clarifying card for the healing energy and the releasing of soul contracts and breaking patterns. Ooh, awesome. 10 of air. That's funny. So usually you don't have the 9 and 10 come out together, and I did shuffle. So the end of a difficult situation, embrace the change and expect things to get better now, recovering from an addiction. So spirit is working heavily behind the scenes with a lot of people right now. And all they have to do is say yes. All they have to do is be willing to change, to let go of that ego and drop the masks, right? So people who are living in fear and deception and manipulation and control, spirit's really working heavily with them to go, hey, look, there's another way of doing things. There's another way of releasing yourself and healing yourself. We have Unbound, we have healing, and the 10 of Swords. So, sometimes we really are our own warden. Like we keep ourselves prisoners in terms of the way we think sometimes. And so, it's really been an important time to take the key and liberate ourselves. And it might be scary coming out into this new world where we're responsible for our thoughts, or we're responsible for our actions. And that's a lot to handle. But, that is in the realm of truth. It's going, okay, I can handle the truth. I can move forward, whatever the truth is. So huge energies. But to have that 9 of air currently and moving into the 10, it does say that for those of you who are experiencing challenges or hiccups or misunderstandings or miscommunications with people, spirit may be bringing in a really great opportunity to heal those so that you can move forward and or have a new beginning or a new way of perceiving something from the past. So that's a really beautiful energy. All right. So, we're 45 minutes in. What I'm going to do is pull a card for Jadelyn. Let's see. I'm going to pull a animal oracle card for you. And actually, I might pull an Isis oracle card for you too. I feel like you might have some Egyptian energy or interest in Egyptian mythology, that kind of thing. So let us see. This reading is for Jadelyn. Hope you're still watching. And that one came out pretty quick for you. All right. So eventually I'm going to be posting when I'm going to be coming on. It's just a matter of me kind of organizing my schedule. But I will be posting my times ahead of time so you can set your reminder. And come on board, baby. All right. So this is your clarifying card. What else does Jadelyn need to know for her highest and best? Their highest and best. Here we go. All right. So here we are. Your energy. Ooh, this is awesome. You have a lion, higher calling. So the card says, you have within you all the courage you need. Let go of the past and reclaim your majesty. You will find success and contentment with those by your side. Make noble choices for your life and your tribe. So this is another kind of synchronicity for you in terms of tribe and higher calling. So it's really saying you do have a deep connection to your spiritual tribe. You do have a deep connection to your intuition, and there is an advancement taking place in your life. So there is something that spirit is moving you towards, and it might not be exactly what you had anticipated or planned, but you're stepping into the shoes of being ready. So, you know, say Oprah Winfrey calls you up and says, hey, you want to go for an interview? You're like, yeah, sure, let's do it. So really stepping into your power, really understanding that your purpose is very important and that you are strong, confident, and you've been through these challenges and struggles so that when you're in that leadership role, you can be humble with people who are struggling or have gone through excruciating experiences, because you can go, I've been there. And you know how it felt, and you know the courage and the energy and the life force and the will to keep going. You know what it took, right? So instead of being like having a dictator energy or being a leader who wants to control people, you're not. You're going to be independent. You're really going to be focusing on it from a altruistic place. And it's really going to help you in that leadership role to really claim your power. And what I see here, if you are by chance, you know, have been or will be moving into a soulmate or out of a twin flame relationship here, you know, we do have the masculine and feminine honored in this card. We do have that powerful masculine and the powerful feminine. And the interesting thing about this, you know, lions in particular, is that their roles are somewhat reversed, right? So we have the female who's the hunter. And so really being mindful that your feminine and masculine energies can move and oscillate and ebb and flow. So you might have a shifting in those dynamics within yourself. And to clarify that, yes, wings of Isis. So this is uniting with your angelic self. So you may have had issues of power in your life where you were, you know, always giving, and or you had relationships that weren't reciprocal. And so you would give out a lot of energy, a lot of time, and that was natural for you. But along the way, you realized, okay, I don't want to be a doormat anymore. Like I don't want to just be giving and not receiving. And so really put a stop to those energies, or you're in the midst of putting a stop to those energies right now, and really raising the bar, standing your ground, and developing healthy boundaries for people who aren't offering, you know, a free exchange of energy. So that goes for friendships, partnerships, business partnerships as well. And it also indicates that you actually have a strong connection to the angelic realm. So you might be one who relates to being called an earth angel. And so really accepting that sensitivity, accepting that high sensitivity, because sometimes it can feel like such a burden. It can feel like, okay, you know, this world, I don't think I was made for it. Like, where are the other people like me so that I don't have to feel this suffering, or I don't have to look out and just see all this ego and fear energy. So having this energy come through, uniting that, it's really about a full acceptance of who you are, a full acceptance of that love you've been able to give out as a precious, precious gift, and that energy is going to come back to you karmically. We just don't know how, right? So very strong energies of being an empath, very strong energies of being a healer, and moving into your power more and more. So, I think very exciting things for you to come, Jadelyn. Very exciting things. So I hope you enjoyed the reading today. I hope those messages resonated for you. And of course, those who are catching the replay or come on live there, those messages may pertain to you. You just have to use your intuition and ask if those messages are for you as well. So thanks everyone for tuning in. It was really great to see you. I will be back next time, so make sure to subscribe or like, and you can also find me over on Facebook at Kindred Heart Tarot. So, have an awesome weekend. Make sure to take care of yourself, and we will catch you next time. Love you lots. Bye.